Hello and welcome as today's date comes in that of Thursday, 26th of September 2019. My name is Derek. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Take a look at Bitcoin and Fibonacci retracement on multiple different angles and levels. And within it, we're seeing continuation decline as we have a down move so far of about 6%, making lows not seen going back to that of June the 10th. So, continuation of yesterday's statement that the market is heading towards the downside, and this is the was it 2 days ago it happened? Okay, I guess 2 days ago statement then rather of heading towards the downside after a pause day yesterday. And within it, okay, where was the failed breakout area or breakdown area? Because it's one of two things going down here. Either A, it tests the 63.41, or B, it doesn't. And if it doesn't, it's most likely going to come and do a move probably within this area. And the lower end is about like 75-ish or so. So it still could technically do that. And then that's all could. And I do a lot of the either or situations, so I'm going to do it again. As the statement, of course, has been a test at the 63 change level where that brings the next either or situation to come into place, and that is that of the high probability of support, which is what I think it is, but that of support where it would be the area of the bottom, and thus the price going higher. And I'm going to show that as a failed move perspective, and both of them rather, using a 15-day or around a half a month perspective. It shows it the best, I feel. So we have this move the high to the low and the break above here. If it's not able to hold this general area and it fails within it after making a move like this, thus making a lower high from here, then that would be considered a failed breakdown. Thus, in a newly bear market, you have your spots of key low, key high, and then you start your bear, first low, first lower high, and then you get your second lower low. So that would be the bearish scenario. And of course, on a bullish level, it's in this correctionary phase as it is right now. And well, if it goes below it a bit, then it would just be that, and that's normal, of a small amount. And it doesn't show much further of a decline as it is here, which is another reason why I like to show it within this level as well. And then looking at it on the traditional monthly, still you can see the failed breakout above it, just getting above here. In this case, the 18 average of lows is in at, looks like 58, but it's also the 26th day of September. It's actually 59.67, so it's going to be noticeably, it's probably pretty much around that 63 Fibonacci mark as we head into October. And if you ever see spots where you have, as we stated in here, no resisting the lows and the highs, you get above it and you hold the lows, then you get above the highs, that's a bullish situation. Now let's bring this back to the short term. And for this, I'm going to use the Binance Tether Bitcoin exchange, at least to start here, which uses Fibonacci from the breakdown area where it started to break down from to where these lows end up going. We can see that just recently in the previous hour, it matched, pierced below the previous low. It actually matched at the period before that, piercing above it in that particular period, and is currently in that general area and barely above it right now. As far as how these key lines have worked out, which I'm pretty much going to be deleting. Oh, I'm not going to delete them now until it clearly breaks down below this, but it doesn't look good right now on its holding status. And I say that as in this could go down further at any point. If it does, you're going to be breaking down below a shorter term, somewhat key level of support. It's only the second time it's hit it, but it was a big move that had this very long consolidation period. So actually I can go like that and keep the lines in. We could also have a situation where we come up to the 18 average and then bring it down. There's just so many ways, or just stays in this area and consolidates. Maybe we go range bound for 6, 8, 12 hours between 76 to maybe around this, probably 81.42, given the Fibonacci status it has. And then the 18 would catch up with that. Those are all possibilities in here because that's one of the things I notice when a market makes a big move up or down like this, and it just goes back and it's up. It doesn't spend much time at that big level, or that in this case a big level going down. That when it does return back there, that the next time it can oftentimes spend just that a decent amount of time there. What I also did was I also calculated Fibonacci from the other level, but we can see in here that just within these levels for today, finding support, extra pierce below, resisting in here, then as it came down here, this is why I mentioned again, just like I said before, although this wasn't at the low, but spending some time in this area, big move down, and always concise going down below the next one. Now, what I also did was I calculated Fibonacci on from the key low to this key high as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And we can see that at first I was like, okay, this looked really weird because it wasn't acting like it did. I mean, it congested within it, and it's always going to tell a story pretty good usually anyways. But then it did support this level, and fast move comes down to this line, resisting in here. And now we can see the 79.37 line that I put in that hasn't even been touched since I put it in, is congesting within that level. First it supported it. Now we're seeing more resistance signs amongst this. So it's already weak. It's already, and by doing what it did here, it stated it was going to go down at least next to previous low. So I say that, oh, if this happens, we'll probably go here. Okay, so now we're there. Now what? And that's exactly what I say. Yeah, now what? We have to, for this, I like to see how it consolidates within this because this could be a spot where we could go a little bit higher, but it's not likely. It's more likely that any type of support, and there's a decent chance that this won't be the greatest, meaning it'll just go sideways or it'll find some sort of lower high. In this case, up to about as high as you think, about 82.50. But even realistically, it could even just be 81 and just meet up with this previous level of resistance. Just it's going to be very difficult to trust any rallies on here during this particular time frame, which of course is the 26th day of September. And within it, if this market stays above it, just like the last Fibonacci, it doesn't necessarily need to be, doesn't need to be taken out because these lines don't get changed until, of course, that of the break of either the support or resistance, which hasn't happened yet. And in conclusion, I want to take a look at the inverse of Bitcoin, which is in at 12,548 Satoshi. And we'll put a line here as far as this level of, in this case, resistance, and in this case, support. Now, I don't know if the log scale's a little off on here. It wasn't too far away, of course, getting up to like 14,000, but large pierce above on this. And what I'll do afterwards, I'm going to multiply this by 100,000 just to make it look proper. But it should be fine because usually markets with this many decibels are usually a decent log chart. But we'll see. The two things I want to go over is obviously it's in a major downtrend in this perspective, and with these two lines, it's been a sideways move. So overall, for me to say that this would be good or thus Bitcoin is that of a failure, I would need to see this thing clearly break above this. And pending, of course, some sort of failed breakout, then that would be it for Bitcoin. I would have to think. But this is also $3,000 $3,000 Bitcoin as well. It's going to be very difficult. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it does even come up to here. This is again going up to like wherever, like 6,055 or whatnot, where it does that, and it's got a decent chance of finding just by looking at the chart. After all, you're in a downtrend as it is. But just like I state, you really can't say that this is going to fail until it gets above here. Then by the same voucher, it ain't going to succeed unless it can break down in here. Thank you for tuning in. Actually, no, I wanted to do the log scale too. So let's just see if there's a little bit of a difference in here. If you look at it this way, it kind of, let's just see here. A little bit, but nothing major though. Alright, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.